Okay, well firstly I'd like to welcome everyone for coming along to today's webinar on the Nutrition Complete program. Jen's here as well from Gold Power.
Hey guys, how you going?
Now with the webinar, just to keep the call quality clean and crisp for you guys, you are all on mute. If anyone has a question, feel free to type it into the question or the text panel, and I'm more than happy to answer that as we go along. Now just before I show you the Nutrition Complete system and how it can help you achieve your goals and how it can help you with your healthy eating, Jen's just asked me to share a little bit about my background and I guess how the system came about. So basically I've been in the industry almost 10 years, and when I was 32, just as I became qualified as a personal trainer, I was diagnosed with borderline osteoporosis. Now if you're not sure what osteoporosis is, osteo means bone and porosis means porous or brittle. So really I had the bones of a woman almost twice my age. What I found out after going through a multitude of tests and visiting endocrinologists is that the reason I had borderline osteoporosis at such a young age is because I'd spent 10 years dieting when I was younger. So from about the age of 18, 19, for almost 10 years I lived on 1,000 calories a day. I was very body conscious. I had a self-esteem problem when I was younger, which all came about because I was modelling when I was younger. But ultimately it made me realise that people who spend a lot of their life dieting are at risk of other health issues, and I became very passionate about finding ways for people to lose weight or maintain weight without causing unnecessary health issues to their body. And that's really where Nutrition Complete came from. So the last 8 or 9 years I've spent researching and developing programs for people that want to lose weight or just live a healthy lifestyle that enables them to eat healthy food but without having to severely restrict the amount of food that they're eating. So that's just a bit about me.
Nice. Are you on top of it now, Sonia?
I am. For a long time I was. It really consumes you. So I think there are things like anorexia and bulimia that people speak about, and they are certainly eating disorders, but I think a lot of people suffer with what I call disordered eating. So we just have a false sense of what we should be eating just because we're bombarded all the time with magazines and, you know, eat this, don't eat that, low fat, high fat, and people are just confused.
That's an awesome point to make, and you know, I'm glad that gets that the Gold Power girls get to hear that. Good stuff.
Fantastic. Well, I'll log you guys in now to the Nutrition Complete program so you can actually see how it can help you to achieve a healthier and balanced way of eating whilst also achieving your goals, regardless of if you want to lose weight, maintain weight or gain weight. So the screen that you can see now is the Nutrition Complete login screen. When you guys get a login, which will get emailed to you once you sign up with Jen, you'll get a username and password, and it's just a matter of entering those details into this screen here. In the next month or so, there will also be a login panel on the Gold Power website, so you can also use that to log in when that's up and running. So once you sign in, it just validates your username and password. And when you log in, this is the first screen that you come to. This is the home page. Now the first time you log in, it will come up with a little message asking you to fill out your profile. And your profile is up here on the top panel. Now just before I go into that, I just want to take you through some of the resources on the left-hand side here. If after the webinar today you want to go back and revisit some of the things we've gone through, all of these little links here are just text information on and just some tips on what to do with regards to each of the sections, but also video tutorials here on the right. These will take you through what we're going through today in more detail, so you can go back and revisit any of the steps and get another overview. So let's go and fill out your profile. So on the left-hand side, on the top is your profile button, and on the right-hand side is a profile navigation. The top one is your personal profile, and this is just where you fill out your personal details, your date of birth, your sex, contact phone number, email address, etc. If you like, you can also add before and after photos, which is just a matter of clicking on Choose File, clicking on a photo that you want to add, and then once you save, which I'll do for you, it will come up in the before photo section. And that's just a nice way of tracking your results as you go along. The postal address isn't mandatory. You can fill that out if you like. It's up to you. And your username and password that gets issued to you at the time of joining, you can actually change that at any time, so it's something memorable for you. The next section to fill out is your dietary profile here on the right-hand side. And this is where you get to personalise your dietary preferences as well as what goals you're wanting to achieve. So the first question is, what are your goals? Do you want to lose weight, maintain weight, or gain weight? So you select the one that's applicable to you. What are the target weeks that you're wanting to achieve that in? And then also, what activity level are you at? So are you fairly sedentary, exercise occasionally, relatively active, or very active? I'm sure training with Jen, option number 1, won't be applicable to any of you guys. Now, you also need to enter your current weight and also your height, and whether or not you're having a reward day or a reward meal on any of those days. And basically what that does is it just means that there's a day of the week that you can ignore the recommended dietary recommendations on the system. And if you're not having a reward day or meal, then simply click on none. Preparation time is the next section, and this is asking you how much time you have to prepare each of your meals. So if you're quite busy in the morning, you may only have up to 5 minutes to prepare your breakfast. Morning tea, it might be the same. Lunch, you might have a bit more, 10 minutes. And the reason for that is you can go through each of these meals and select the amount of time that you have, and it will only show you recipes that match that time criteria for you. Dietary preferences is the next section. So if you would like dairy-free, vegetarian, gluten-free, white meat only, no seafood, then you can select that as a dietary preference. The last one here, no meal replacements. The reason that's there is whilst we recommend natural foods, we understand also that people are busy and some people do like having protein bars or protein shakes. If you don't want those to appear on your meal planner or in the recipes when they come up, simply click on no meal replacements and they won't be shown for you. The next section is your recipe regions. So if you select all, every single recipe from every single region will be displayed for you as long as it matches your time criteria. If, however, you don't like a particular cuisine, so if you don't like Chinese or you don't like Greek food, you could unselect those and you won't see any recipes that come from those regions. The last section we have here is your daily beverage allocation. And basically what this is on average on each particular day, how much tea, coffee, soft drink, etc. would you have. So I might have 2 cups of tea, 1 fruit juice and 8 glasses of water. The next section is how much milk or sugar type or sugar substitutes do you have. And once you've completed filling your profile out, you click on Update Information. Once you've filled out your dietary profile, the next step is to go to your meal planner again on the top menu. Now on the meal planner, if you have a look at the right-hand side, you'll see there's a current intake panel. This has 2 columns. The first one is your recommended daily, and this is based on your personal profile. So based on your goals, your height, your weight, your age, your sex, and your activity level, it's calculated for you how many calories you should have on a daily basis to achieve your goal, and further broken that down into protein, carbohydrates, fat, fibre, and water. The next column is your planned daily. So every time you add something to your meal planner, it's going to show you where you are compared to what we've recommended. If you're either higher or lower than the recommendation, it will be highlighted in red. Now you'll notice there's already 90 calories showing in that panel. That's what's come across from your daily beverage allocation. So you can see before you start planning your meals how many calories, protein, carbohydrates and fat you're already having from your drinks. So let's get started making your first meal planner. There are a couple of options you have. You can use the meal planner to create an instant meal plan for you. You can create your own meal planner manually by clicking Add Meal and Add Food. And once you've created a meal planner, you can use the Copy Meal Plan button to copy that meal planner across to another day, or you can copy an entire week's meal planner across to another week. Let's have a look firstly at doing a manual meal planner. So if I click on the Add Meal button, it will bring up a list of all the recipes for breakfast, that match my criteria in the dietary profile. All the recipes are listed in order from the lowest amount of calories through to the highest, and if you click on the page numbers at the bottom, again it will continue to increase in your calorie range. You can also sort the recipes by clicking on any of the headings. So you can sort alphabetically by recipe name. You can sort from highest to lowest calories, fat, carbs, protein and fibre. So if you were looking for something higher in protein, you could simply click the protein heading and it would list all the recipes in order of highest amount of protein. To look at a recipe, you simply click on the right hand side where it says View, and it will bring up the recipe for you, so you can see a picture of the recipe, the ingredients and also the instructions. If you like that recipe and think it's something you're going to have on a regular basis, click on Add to Favourite up the top and your recipe will be saved to your favourites.
Looks pretty good, Sonia, that one.
The recipe or the Add to Favourites?
But both. The recipe looked great.
There's some really amazing recipes in here, and that's what makes it so easy to follow as well. Now,
you know, that in itself is a great, sorry to interrupt,
that's
that's
right.
such a great resource, just in terms of how many recipes are in the database?
There's close to 400 recipes in the database, and we add a minimum of 2 recipes every week.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
So yeah, we like to make sure there's always variety in there. So once you're happy with that recipe, you just click on Add on the right hand side, and the recipe gets added immediately into your meal planner, and you can see the calories and nutrients get updated as well. I'll click on Add Meal again for the second meal, just to show you a couple of other ways of finding recipes. So in the search recipe box, you can type a word, and it will search recipes looking for the word, as I've entered, banana. You can clear that search. You can also look for recipes that are only in your favourites. So if I click on Only My Favourites, it will bring up any recipes that I've saved in my favourites. So from there, again, I can simply add that to my meal planner. Another option you've got is just to add food. So if you don't want to add a recipe as such, you can click on Add Food, and it will come up with a search field. So if I want to have banana and cottage cheese, first I would type in banana. And to narrow down the search, click on the type of category that you want, so fresh fruit. If you don't select fresh fruit, it will come up with every single ingredient that has the word banana, so it's much quicker to do it this way. So that brings up large, medium and small bananas. Again, I can add to favourites by clicking on the gold star, and it will add it to my favourites of food items, which I could view by clicking up the top here. To add it to my meal planner, I simply click on the plus button on the right hand side, and if I wanted to update quantity, so if I want half a banana, change the quantity and click update, and that also updates the nutritional information. This time I'm going to look for cottage cheese. I'm not going to select a category because not many foods have the word cottage in it. And this time I'm going to select Weight Watchers cottage cheese on the bottom. Now most food items come up in grams or mils, so you will need to change the quantity. So I'm going to have 125 grams. Click Update. And you can continue to add ingredients as many times as you like, and once you're happy with the ingredients you have, or the food items, click Add to Planner, and they will come across here for you. To remove any items, simply click on the cross button and you can start again. So that's how to add food items and also recipes. What I'd like to show you now is how to create an instant meal planner. So click on Create Instant Meal Planner, click OK, and then choose if you're creating a meal planner for one day or multiple days. So really, if you wanted the system to create a meal planner for you for the next month, you could do that simply by clicking on multiple days and selecting the date range that you wanted to plan meals for. For the webinar, I'm only going to plan meals for today's recipe, today's meals. So click on Submit, and it gets instantly prepared for you. Now, if there's, for some reason, there's a recipe on the meal planner that's been prepared for you that you don't like, you can simply click on Remove, go back into recipes, all food items, and add what it is that you prefer. Now you can see from the current intake panel here that the system has gone within the calorie guidelines. It will also look as closely as possible to your protein, carbohydrates and fat requirements, but sometimes it will be a little bit out. But that's okay as long as the top section is within your guidelines. The other thing you can do is, once you've got a meal planner that you really like, you can copy that across. So you can copy a day's meals or a week's meals across simply by clicking on the date button. So we're going to copy today's meal across to tomorrow and click submit. So if I now go across to Sunday, I can see that my meal planner has been copied across. And that's how easy it is to copy a meal planner, because quite often we eat similar or the same foods on a daily basis. So rather than having to plan from scratch, you can just copy your meal planners across and edit them as necessary. Now what you can do is...
That makes it really... Sorry, I was just thinking that makes it so easy, you know, once you create it, I mean, I'm a real creature of habit. I'm thinking about the Gold Power girls here, you know. Yeah, so once you've created that meal plan, it's you know, it's do the work once, and then you can pretty much just keep copying and pasting and just have it flow through so that you don't have to recreate the plan from scratch every week, correct?
That's exactly right. I'm the same. I pretty much, my breakfast through to afternoon tea on a daily basis doesn't tend to vary that much, just my dinners.
Yeah,
so,
I think busy women definitely, we do that, not just, you know, I think we do it for a reason, you know, because we are busy and it's easier to know what you're up to and what you're eating than to have to think about it. So that's a real benefit I see with this.
Yep, definitely. So once you've got your day or your week planned, you can print your meal planner off. So you can either print your daily meal planner, which will give you pretty much a screenshot, or you can print your weekly meal planner off, and basically that will come up with your entire week, each of the recipes, and also your nutritional breakdown, so you've got that on hand as well. If you need to move forward and backwards through the days, you can simply click on any of the days up the top here, and if you want to move forward or backwards through the weeks, you've got the next and previous buttons. But once you've got your meal planner, the next step is then to click on shopping list up the top, and the system will then generate a shopping list for the meal planner that you've just created. So the first thing you need to do is select how many people you're cooking for with your shopping. If it's only for you, then select only for me, but if other people are going to be also using this meal planner, you can select 2, 3, etc. Select meals. You can select all, which will bring up the ingredients that you need to shop for every meal time. And the reason we've got that is, if you are a creature of habit, as we were just talking about, just say you have the same breakfast every morning and you know you have all of those ingredients, you can simply unselect that and it's only going to show you the ingredients for the other meal times. Now, once you've got your shopping list up, it's a matter of just selecting what dates that you'd like to shop for, and then clicking Update Information. The system will then generate a shopping list categorised into different food categories and all the ingredients that you need to purchase. So basically, before you print the list off, you can edit it. You can delete items by clicking on the red cross, and you can also update quantities. So if you wanted different quantities, more or less, just simply click on the item that you're changing and then update quantities. And then once you're ready, click on the print icon and you'll get an entire shopping list printed out for you. With regards to printing the recipes, you've got two options. The easiest option is to print from your meal planner. Each of these recipes have a hyperlink or a link from the title of the recipe through to the actual recipe, so just click on that. And then on the top right you'll see print recipe. Before you print, it asks again how many people that you'll be preparing the recipe for. So if I was to say 4 people and click on print, what it does is before it prints out, it actually multiplies the serves by 4 so that you have the correct amount of ingredients on your recipe. And that's really great because it means you don't have to sit there trying to calculate, you know, do I need less ingredients, more ingredients, depending how many people you're cooking for. The recipe tab you can print from there as well. This recipe section is really a database of every single recipe we have. You can search for recipes by name. So if you wanted to find a recipe that had the word chicken in it, you could search by chicken. You can also search by recipe options. So if you wanted something gluten-free and dairy-free, you could simply choose those. Or you could search by recipe region. So if you wanted to see what French recipes were there, you could then search. And what's really great about that is if you particularly like French recipes or a certain cuisine, you can search for those, view them, and then from here add them to your favourites. And that just means that when you're going into your meal planner and looking at your favourites, the meals that you already like are already saved under your favourites. The other thing you can do from this recipes tab is create your own recipe. So on the right hand side it says add new recipe. And it's the same process that we went through on the meal planner when we were looking for food items. So if I type in the word banana, fresh fruit, and click submit, it comes up with that same list. I then add that to my recipe, change it to half, and click update. I would then add cottage cheese in the same way. And the benefit of using add recipe is if I had banana and cottage cheese on a regular basis, rather than having to go into the meal planner and choose those food items every single time, it's much quicker to create your own recipe, because what you would do then is add whatever ingredients you need, choose a name, cooking instructions, how long it takes to make. Now, whatever time you put in here, just remember if you put 10 minutes, but you've selected recipes less than 5 minutes, it won't necessarily show because the time, it looks at the time factor. Select a region, which meal times you'd like that recipe to appear in, any meal preferences that you'd like it to show up for. You can get creative and choose your own image as well if you've taken a photo of it. And you can also add it to your favourites, so that way it shows up in your favourites.
That's a pretty handy one, Sonia, because I think, you know, we've all got our favourite recipes, you know, or our favourite, you know, things that we have at a certain time in the day. You know, I know that, you know, don't tell anyone, but I like rice cakes and peanut butter and honey. So, you know, being able to, you know, to just slot, you know, enter that as one of my recipes and still have that print out on my plan,
Yep.
just makes it so versatile.
It does, and yeah, rather than having to add, you know, those ingredients individually every time, it just makes it really quick and easy.
Yeah, that's a big benefit as well.
So once you've created your recipe, you can go on the right hand side and click my recipe list, and anything that you've created, so banana and cheese, you can then go back, edit it at any time. You can add or remove it to your favourites, and you can delete it as well. And the last list here on the bottom is my favourite recipes. So this will just list anything that I've added to my favourites. So if I didn't particularly like chocolate blancmange, then I could just remove that. The next tab across here is a reporting section, and this is where you can monitor your progress as you use the system over a period of weeks. So on the very top here there's a link that says My Progress Profile. So if I click on that, it comes up with the ability for me to log my weight, various measurements, and also body fat percentage. To do that, I just need to click on the calendar, select a date, and then enter the measurements. The only one that's mandatory is weight. The rest are all optional. So you can select, maybe you're just measuring your waist measurement, and maybe you're also doing your body fat percentage. Click Update Information, and you'll see that that's now recorded underneath the list, on top of the list, sorry. Once you've recorded that, if you prefer to look at your results in a line graph, because it's much easier to see, you can just click on any of these and it will bring it up for you. So we'll have a look at weight. And what it does is it tracks the last 8 recordings. So the more often you use it, then the more relevant the data will be.
That's a great tool.
Yeah. Body fat percentage as well. So what we've got here, it's the same graph report, but it also tells you for men and women, depending on your age, where your ideal body fat percentage range is, and a bit of information. And then the last section up the top here is resources, and that's similar to where we were on the home page. At any time, if you want to get back to the resources, you've got all the getting started and tutorial information here. You've also got some additional resources, so you can go to meal planners, and there's some blank meal planners, some quick ideas. So if you don't want to necessarily use a recipe, you just want some ideas, there's some ideas there. There's a quick start meal planner. So this isn't tailored to anybody's specific goals, it's just a generic one, but some people like just to print something off and get started while they familiarise themselves with the system. So
that's a great resource as well, Sonia, just, you know, in terms of being able to jump right in,
yep.
You know, get stuck into that while you're working out, you know, that's a terrific resource.
Yeah, and we've aimed it at, you know, the weekly average is 1,658 calories, which is sort of a midpoint for most people.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's got all the recipes, so you can search by recipe name, print them off, and it's also got the shopping list already done for you.
That's great.
So we've got two weeks of those done, and that's just to help people get started. We've also got positive mindset exercises. So one of the really key ingredients for achieving any type of goal, whether it's weight loss, fitness, or even outside of health and fitness, is making sure your mindset's in the right place. So we've just got some different success principles here that you can print off and go through over the weeks as well. We also have a More Success Tools section, which just has a few little handy tools for you, a commitment contract for yourself. If you prefer to log your measurements manually, we've got a download there, a goal setting and progress sheet, and a blank weekly shopping template if you prefer to handwrite it, but not many people use that because the system does it for them. And the last tool we've got is down the very bottom, an exercise calorie calculator. So if you want to see how much calories you're burning doing a particular type of exercise, you can simply look through the list of what you're doing. So it might be strength training moderate. You'd enter your weight and how many minutes that you're doing it for, and it will tell you how many calories you've burnt doing that activity. So that's just a really good educational tool, so you can see also what different activities help to burn different amounts of calories as well.
Now, I did, one of the girls asked me whether it's possible to, I know you can, at the start in the profile, you can factor in how active you are, and then that obviously takes into consideration, you know, a set amount of, you know, calories that if you're active, obviously you're going to burn each day. Is there any way, Sonia, of doing it by activity?
Not at this
other
stage.
Than this?
No, so at this stage it's just more for, I guess, general knowledge.
Yep.
Certainly, you know, we continue to add new features and functions, and it's something that we're looking at later in the year.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And look, to use this little resource here, if you know you've done a certain sort of exercise and you've done it for X amount of minutes and pop your weight in, you can soon work out, you know, exactly how many calories you've, you know, you've burned on average. So that's great.
Yep, fantastic. So that's pretty much all the features of the Nutrition Complete program, and at the end of this webinar I will be forwarding a link through to Jen that has the webinar recorded on it, so you can go back and revisit it, or as I said earlier, you can go to the video tutorials and have a look at each of the different sections and get guided through that as well. So thank you very much for your time today, and I'm not sure if you have any other questions, Jen, before we finish off.
I think that's probably that probably is about everything that that I had up. You know, that just questions that have been asked of me. Yes. So what I intend to do is not just you know, is to forward this out to the Gold Power members and yeah, let them know about it. So stand by for that email, and yeah, I think it's a fantastic resource. One of the things that I'm asked most often is I'm having, you know, you know, it's the food. You know, the girls come to me and say, look, what should I be eating? What shouldn't I be eating? You know, this takes the guesswork out of it completely. You know, it's like having your own, you know, nutritionist, you know, at your fingertips. So Yeah, look, thanks, Sonia. Thanks for taking the time and just talking us through that. And now, if the girls, once they start using it, if they have any specific questions, what's the email that they send those questions through to?
Yep, they can send it through to info@nutrition-complete.com.
Great.
And yeah, same if there's ever an ingredient or a recipe that you'd like to suggest that gets added, we're always open to suggestions because we want to ultimately keep making this the best resource that's available on the market for you guys.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Good stuff, Sonia. Thank you so much.
All right, my pleasure, and I look forward to helping everyone achieve their goals.
Great stuff. See you soon.
Bye.